A revolution is coming, or is it? So recently I had a chance to go hands-on with Homefront, the Revolution's closed beta on Xbox One, and played extensively. Does it live up to the hype? Well, we'll get to that in just a moment, but hello there my fellow Open World gamers, what's up? It's Robbie with Open World Games, and yes, we're talking about Homefront, the Revolution. So hopping into the game, I got to create my character from a preset of facial and body options. It's definitely not the strongest character creator that you've seen, of course, but you can select characters that offer their own perks as well, like reviving down teammates with more health, that sort of thing. So you can start off with a good perk of your choice. Unfortunately, co-op was not built into the open world from my experience. It was actually separated into missions, and I was hoping to roam the open world with friends and play every single aspect together, including the single-player story, but it seems like that might not be the case. And it seems like co-op will be limited to these missions that you play separately from the open world, and the open world appears to be single-player. And we have yet to see the single-player, by the way, but Dambuster Studios, the developer, promises that it's going to be very extensive, so that's something I'm actually extremely curious about, because it might be really, really promising. Now, once I was in the game actually playing it, the biggest thing I noticed was the frame rate. Let's just say it was not good. It was subpar. There were other graphical issues, but on the top of the screen, you clearly see not final game. You have to remember that when playing any type of beta or alpha or anything like that. But, the developers did respond to these concerns on Twitter, saying they are targeting a much better frame rate in the final game, and the graphics are already better in the current development than what is offered in the closed beta. This scenario does remind me of what happened with Battlefield 3's beta. Let's just say with Battlefield 3, when they came out with their beta, it seemed like the game would be an absolute disaster when it would release. That, of course, did not happen, so I won't judge Homefront the Revolution based on its graphics yet. And even when I played the Division's alpha, there were a lot of graphical issues that were not present in the closed beta. So again, I'm not judging Homefront the Revolution based on graphics, but let's just say right now they have to improve a lot of the pop-in with textures and the frame rate. What I can say about its world is that it has a ton of potential in my opinion. I especially enjoyed the atmosphere of the nighttime mission. It feels like there's so much potential here when looking past its rough edges. And, playing co-op is fun, offering quite a challenge even on normal difficulty. There's some concern about how challenging this game is, but I really, really enjoy the challenge. You have to really coordinate with your team to tackle strongholds and arm objectives. It's not going to be something that you just do. You have to really sort of plan it out. A lot of it lacked any reasoning, though, but I think the single player will be there to flesh that out, I hope. And there is weapon customization, and looks to be pretty impressive, by the way. It carries over the same system from the Crysis franchise. So any of you that are familiar with Crysis, you will enjoy this system. And you can add or remove attachments at any time. And the weapon handling is another thing. It's not as forgiving as other games. You'll definitely want to burst this time around, because there's a lot of recoil in the weapons, and I hope they don't really change this because there's a lot of skill that is required to get some shots. There's also a simple crafting system in the game which requires you to gather the proper resources from the world, but it's nothing too extensive, and I think that's more appropriate for this style of game. You can also hop onto dirt bikes, but since I wasn't able to experience them in the true open world, they seem like more of a novelty item that you're not going to really use, so that was kind of disappointing. But I would imagine you're going to be remaining on foot for the duration of your experience in Homefront the Revolution, at least in co-op. Also, you earn credits to unlock weapons through the armory, and it's pretty randomized, so it's a different system that takes some getting used to, as some of your freedom is stripped from you when doing this. You really never know what you're going to get, but let me know what you guys actually make of that system, if you like that, or if you prefer something where you can just choose your weapon. Now, this development team has been through development hell, to say the least, so I'd really like to see this game succeed for them. And I actually did enjoy the first Homefront game. I felt like it had so much potential, much like Homefront the Revolution. We'll see what happens with this one. Now, the first Homefront game did have an extensive PvP offering, So I'm very surprised that Homefront Revolution does not have that, but what it does have is it's going to have co-op and a single-player campaign with an open world. Of course, the first Homefront did not have the open world aspect to it, and we will be given 20 co-op missions for free after its release, so that's really nice. But I'll be keeping you guys updated about all things Homefront the Revolution right here on Open World Games, and expect a final word about the game by May 17th, 2016 right here on Open World Games. So subscribe. Thank you guys so much for your continued support, and look forward to more Open World Gaming goodness, and I will see you guys later.